in the battle of the billionaires.
Richard Branson set to launch to space in a rocket plane on Sunday. If successful, the 70-year-old entrepreneur will beat rival and Amazon founder Jeff Bezos by just 9 days. Branson, Bezos, and Tesla founder Elon Musk have been pumping billions of dollars into their space companies with a push to bring ordinary Americans to the final frontier. With a look at the billionaire space race and what it could mean for other aspiring astronauts, here's CNBC's Morgan Brennan.
The dream of a lifetime and an investment 2 decades in the making. Sir Richard Branson will climb aboard the Unity spaceplane Sunday morning with 3 Virgin Galactic employees and 2 pilots.
Fire.
A 90-minute trip to the edge of space, which, if all goes according to plan,
Look at that view. Gorgeous.
And at that moment, we will have become astronauts.
as the company looks to launch service next year, this mission will test the customer experience.
Welcome to the club, astronauts.
Do better than Richard when he comes back for us to interview and say, okay, how was that? How did we deliver? How did we set up the training program?
The Unity 22 crew will launch from the air, carried into the sky by a twin fuselage mothership called Eve, named for Branson's own mother. Then
3, 2, 1, release.
released, rocketing to an altitude of about 55 miles, high enough to experience weightlessness, before landing back on the Spaceport America runway in New Mexico.
You're going to space.
If successful, it's a flight that could help usher in not only space tourism, but a new, more commercialized era of space activity overall.
We're opening up the space economy for transportation, comms, Earth observation at a time when we're being hacked every week. And the relationship between all modalities. I mean, eVTOLs and urban air mobility, flying cars, is way bigger than one company.
As for billionaires traveling to space, Branson's flight is scheduled to take place just 9 days ahead of Jeff Bezos, whose competing Blue Origin will conduct its first ever crewed flight and the first by a U.S. company involving a paying passenger. Though as of now, the winner of that nearly $30 million auction is still a mystery. Scott?
All right, Morgan Brennan for us tonight. And for more on the space race, Garrett Reisman joins me now, the former NASA astronaut, SpaceX senior advisor, and professor at USC. It's good to have you here, sir. Space, as you know, I don't need to tell you, it's never been hotter. What does this new chapter of the billionaire space race mean, not only for NASA, but space exploration overall?
Hi, Scott. Well, hopefully it's the beginning of a new era where more people have the opportunity to go up into space, So it's not just a bunch of lucky government employees like myself. I think it's fantastic that we're starting to get to the point where private citizens can fly.
Well, if you have a lot of money, can you actually see a day where the average American can go up into space?
Yeah, it's not. Some people saying this is like ordinary people flying. It's ordinary, yeah, if you have a couple $1 billion or, if you're really rich. But look, this is the same thing we did with the airlines. In the beginning, we had people that were flying on airplanes were millionaires, movie stars. They were dressed in black tie to climb on these rickety old planes and fly from like Burbank to Vegas. And now today we have Southwest and almost everybody can go fly. So I think we're going to head down that same path in space. It's going to take a little while, but the price will come down. And eventually, I really hope that everybody who wants to go can go.
What's this mean for NASA, which is really just a bystander here?
Yeah, so NASA does benefit because they can these vehicles that are suborbital, like the Virgin Galactic and also the Blue Origin New Shepard. NASA can still do science experiments on them. So NASA does benefit, but NASA benefits in a much larger sense by the technology, the development, and the fact that there's new revenues, new investment coming into the space sector, and NASA doesn't have to foot the entire bill for the whole sector.
Yeah, this is only suborbital. We should note that. When do you expect that we would go full orbital with civilian space travel?
Later this year. So very soon, and SpaceX is going to be the first company to do that. They have the Inspiration 4 mission is planned for later this year. And those will be private citizens flying on the SpaceX Dragon and going orbital. More than just a few minutes, they'll be going for days around the Earth. And that's a much harder thing to do. It takes a lot more energy. You have to travel about 4 times as fast, but the energy goes as the velocity squared. So that is 4 times as fast, but 16 times as much energy.
Can you give our viewers an idea of what Mr. Branson is going to feel, what he's going to see this weekend?
Yeah, so he's going to feel some G's. He's going to be pushed back into his seat. First, he's going to feel it head to toe, as they pull back and they zoom up, and then he's going to feel it through the chest as they accelerate. He'll pull up to, I think, about 6 Gs when they come back through the atmosphere. That's about equivalent to what we do when we do aerobatics in like T-38s or other aerobatic airplanes. So that's more than your typical roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
So that'll get his attention. And then, of course, he'll have the view.
Yeah, of course. A great view it will be. How dangerous is it?
It's not the safest way to spend a Wednesday, or in this case, a Sunday, I suppose. But, the suborbital flights are safer in a lot of ways than orbital flights. And with all the testing and modern technology, I think it could be done very safely.
How much you think is really riding on this flight going well, just for the future of space travel and exploration?
Well, a lot of people, I think, are going to be watching. So, yes, if it doesn't go well, I think a lot of people are going to be turned off. And that's always a risk. But I think they're well prepared. They've been doing a lot of flight tests, and I think they're ready to go. And I think if it's a success, which I have every expectation that it will be, that hopefully it excites a lot of people about flying in space.
I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you were a trained pilot of some sort before you went up on the shuttle, at least for the first time. Branson obviously is not. How different is it going to be, and what does that do in terms of adding risk?
Well, it's a very different vehicle. So the shuttle was highly manually intensive for the whole crew. There's a lot of things we had to do. As a flight crew member on the space shuttle, I had a lot of training, years and years of training to do that job. But really, in this vehicle, the 2 pilots in the front have a lot of work to do, and they also are very highly trained and been through many, many simulations. But the people sitting in the back really don't have a lot to do during this flight, which is only about 10 minutes long or so. And during that 10 minutes, really, they're just responsible for making sure they get back into the seat, they put their seatbelt on. It's kind of an advanced version of the kind of thing you have to do as a passenger on the airline. So I think he'll be just fine.
You ever forget that first flight?
Oh, no.
I figured that was going to be the answer. Garrett Reisman, it's a pleasure talking to you tonight. You take care.